Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Couch GMs Podcast. It is Thursday, March 12th, 2026. Okay, yeah, Cody's got a graphic over our heads. I'm saying the wrong year. We're doing great. George Kurth, Cody Roadcap, and Cody, I don't know if you have the exact number of days like the last time he was here. Tyler Snyder back joining with us again. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Happy to be here. Titans' new uniform drops today, so maybe it's a new me dropping today. I don't know. We'll find out.
Is the logo? Do we know if the logo that leaked is the logo?
The Titans did lose the Flames. That is confirmed.
Okay.
And they added stars on their sleeves.
It's exciting.
Instead of swords.
I'm mostly upset that it seems like they're not going to be blue on blue on blue anymore. But, you know, I just like making fun of 3 shades of blue.
All right, green on green. Whatever.
It's teal. But speaking of blue on blue on blue, George, your team.
I'm a Chargers fan. I don't know what you're talking about.
They got a lot of blue too.
There's yellow.
Maybe a little bit.
Whatever. Before this gets even more off the rails, make sure you're following us at the Couch GMs, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok to get even more you do from the show. You can always DM us with any questions you have or join us live Thursdays at 6:30 East to join in live at the chat. We're going to have a lot to talk about today, potentially. I don't know, maybe something might have happened. Why don't we see what's happening?
What? No way!
He went where? For how much?
I'm pretty sure I said what when I saw Cody made a new bumper, and I didn't even actually intro it right.
Well, anything that happened was free agency reaction, so I had to just get right into it.
No, I appreciate it. It was good. And for the second or third time lately, we actually had a news break before we got on the air. So, a couple minutes ago, hot off the presses, Kyler Murray officially signs a contract to join the Minnesota Vikings, including a no tag clause, meaning he's trying to cash in with that second big deal that he could get in his career if he has a good season. And makes sense for the Vikings because not a whole lot off the cap this year. What are you guys' thoughts?
Somewhere Lizzo is smiling because there's a new man on the Minnesota Vikings. But outside of that, I don't know if I'm smiling that much. I don't feel like I feel like Kyler Murray was a little too hyped coming into the draft. I feel like he really hasn't impressed me much in his career so far. Maybe the Vikings just going to be a change of pace and a new fresh start for him, and he'll really resurge. I'm hoping for that for him. But I'm just in a wait and see kind of approach right now, which is my biggest cop-out answer.
I mean, I think that's where everyone is. Like, are they completely shutting down 9? Is he just the backup now? Is it Kyler Murray's job from the jump? Does he have to go out and earn it? Does he have to go out and win it? I think the no tag clause is interesting in the sense that if he does go out and have a Sam Darnold-esque, rebuild in his career, they can't tag him. It would be funny if the Vikings would lose a quarterback that, maybe wins 14 games and out the door again. Have to wait and see. But the Vikings are a mess right now, so probably going to finish 4th in the division no matter who the quarterback is.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Even if they keep McCarthy, I mean, at this point, it's going to completely ruin his self-esteem that they brought in somebody like Kyler Murray. I mean, that big name. Even if McCarthy wins the starting job, the fans are going to be calling for the backup all year. It's going to be hard for him to succeed. I think they're setting him up for failure. I think at this point, they're better off trading him and letting him get a fresh start somewhere else and just running with Kyler. But that's just my opinion.
No, I agree, because even on the flip side, if they keep 9 in the building and they try to let him sit behind Kyler to groom for a year, you're in the situation where Kyler does well, and you should probably re-sign him because you should learn your lesson from the Sam Darnold situation. Or if he does poorly, people are still going to be calling for 9. He's not been good enough to be an established quarterback. So I think only having one of them in the room might be the right answer. And I don't hate the fact that they went after Kyler despite him being a reclamation project of sorts, because you can still argue this team was above 500. This team had 14 wins 2 years ago. They could just be a quarterback away. Not saying Kyler is the answer, but out of all the guys out there, he's the closest thing to the answer you're probably going to find right off the bat.
And as a fantasy football first podcast, the biggest winner is Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
Kyler had D-Hop's down there anyways and just threw it up, and that was when D-Hop was, at his prime in Arizona. That was probably when Kyler was at his best. Getting a guy like Justin Jefferson to just throw the ball to, I expect a resurgence from him. and a guy that you might be able to take advantage of, later in the drafts compared to the last couple of years.
Not taking middle of the first round this time after seeing that.
Hey, you never know. Still at 1,000 yards.
Which he doesn't seem like he did. I don't know how he did.
17 games.
Fair. That took that 17th game for sure. Why don't we get into the real fun controversy that happened this past week? Ravens trade 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby, or so we thought. He gets in-house. They're doing a physical. At the same time, they bring in Trey Hendrickson for a physical. They decide that Crosby did not pass his physical, and they rescind the trade, and then sign Trey Hendrickson, and then try to cover themselves by saying, we wanted to pair both. I don't know if I believe that. A lot of people don't seem to believe that. Just what were your guys' thoughts as everything broke out?
No, because if you pair both, I mean, you're paying so much for the both of them that you can't afford anybody else on the roster. So
Yeah.
I think that's BS. But I don't know. I feel like they got cold feet when I think at first they didn't think they were going to be able to get Trey Hendrickson. That was my guess. And then when Hendrickson showed more interest and they found a number, they were like, hey, wait, we can keep our first round picks and get a top pass rusher. A little more risk, obviously, a little less of a baller than Max Crosby, in my opinion, but still, I mean, able to keep 2 first round picks, that's enticing. I think they got cold feet and used the physical as an excuse.
Yeah, I don't care if it's more of a risk. If it's similar contract and 2 first-round picks, it's less of a risk in that way, right?
It's not even really a similar contract. It was Hendrickson for 4 years, the same price Max Crosby for 3 years was going to be left on that deal in Baltimore. So they got a cheaper guy. They got their first-round picks. Hendrickson, although was injured last year, he was super healthy the 2 years before that, including leading the league in sacks 2 seasons ago. So I do think there is some truth of like, hey, we would love to pair these guys together. And you mentioned the money. They could have made it work. They let like 9 guys leave in free agency.
And they restructured Lamar too, honestly, thinking about it. I don't know if they could have made it work still.
They definitely could have made it work. Like 100% they could have made it work. It would have been the best uses of the resources. That is definitely the debate. However, when I think ultimately they end up getting cold feet, they had the physical there to, decline it, get back in track. And I do think it's, interesting in the sense of this time of year, like we have to wait for the new league year. And that trade was like agreed to like a week before, right? Like, should there be like physicals can happen the next day? Like, why did the physical have to wait to the day before the league year or something like that? So, because the Baltimore Ravens, as much as we say they want to back out, they did let free agents go expecting to use the money for Max Crosby. The Raiders, thank God they had the most cap space of anybody because they signed a bunch of people and they can still keep Max Crosby with that. But I think it does change a lot of the wow, Cody, get your thoughts together. The days leading up to free agency. And at this point, I think Max Crosby staying as the Raiders at least until the NFL trade deadline.
But what's Mac's thoughts coming back into the locker room? I mean, if he doesn't get traded, let's say he does actually stay with the Raiders this year. I mean, what's his thoughts? I mean, you just got traded away by the team that said we're never going to trade you, and now you have to walk back into that locker room after the trade was backed out on. Like, where's his head at?
I personally feel like the anger has to be more set at the Ravens than it does the Raiders. Like, I would hope a guy like Max Crosby, like, even though they might say publicly we're not going to trade you, I would have to think maybe there was a behind the door scenes conversation that was like, are you okay with us shopping you? And gave him kind of the opinion of like, we're not going to send you to the Browns kind of thing. I know the Browns probably weren't in the sweepstakes, but you know what I mean? Like, give him an option, a little bit of like, these are some of the teams, which are somewhere you'd like to go. So even if it was publicly out there, like, we're not going to trade you, I would think he would have been in on like this was happening. And it's not the Raiders' fault that they backed out of that deal. Everyone knew he had a knee injury. He had surgery. He was recovering from it. I don't think there's a reason the Ravens should have backed out of it except for getting cold feet, which is what we've said. So I don't think there should be ill will to the Raiders with him coming back. It's more anger at the Ravens now where if he had decided he wanted to move, I don't know if they're going to be able to move him until the trade deadline like Cody said, because I think he's going to have to prove he's healthy now because even though GMs are realizing that DaCosta there in Baltimore is a little sketchy, I think they're still going to be like, maybe they were onto something. Maybe they did see something in it's physical. You know what I mean? There's doubt.
I think they had the scans before the trade was agreed to. So I think everyone that goes from has the same scans. Like, I don't think it was like they got there and wow, we see something in the knee. I don't think that was the case at all. That's why I think it was more of cold feet. But to your point, Snyder, about like what does Max think? I almost think, the Raiders have been adamant, like, we don't want to move you at this offseason. It sounded like he was frustrated. The Raiders were like, okay, we don't want to move you, but if we find the right deal, we will. Now they go out and get all these pieces, which they can keep. They're going to get the number 1 pick in the draft, which looks like it's going to be Fernando Mendoza. And now Max Crosby seems like a guy that's going to be motivated by, wait, this team said my knee's bad. Let me go out and show them how good my knee is and make them pay and have a baller season with the Raiders and being like, you could have had me. The Ravens are going to lose again in the divisional round. Max Crosby might have got him over the hump. So I think it might actually motivate him, and it might work out best case scenario for the Raiders in the sense that they get an all-star player like that. And now they have all these pieces plus the first round pick. It's still the Raiders, though. They're probably still going to be, a 5-win team.
All I'm saying is if I'm Lamar and we end up playing the Raiders at some point, I'm going to fake a hammy pull for that game because Crosby's going to be on a rampage that day.
100%. I don't know if they're on their future schedule. I wish I would have looked. But the other thing that, makes this more sketchy on the Ravens side is recently it came out that the Eagles actually got, a cap refund, essentially, from the Jair Alexander trade that came from Baltimore last year. And apparently it stemmed on the fact that Eric DaCosta, again, their GM there in Baltimore, had said that Jair Alexander was healthy and willing to play for the Eagles. And then obviously he got traded there, and 7 days later they put him on the reserve retired list. So it's not the first sketchy move out of Baltimore, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, definitely that is the case. Since we have this bumper, and this has been an exciting free agency period, and we've talked about the 2 biggest stories, and one just happened before we went live. Speaking of the Eagles, though, former Eagle Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signing a 1-year deal with the Buffalo Bills.
I thought he was coming back for the 3-peat.
There's a safety out there that I think would be good and replace Reed Blankenship if they could pull Juwan Brisker, the Penn State native. But that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah, it is.
I really like Brisker.
I think if C.J. Gardner-Johnson can fit in that culture in Buffalo, it's a great fit for them. He seems to just be a baller wherever he goes, but it just seems like there's been locker room issues everywhere he goes.
Although Buffalo is having the weirdest offseason, in my opinion. I just don't get what they're doing.
I mean, he knows DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's true. He knows DJ Moore. They gave Bradley Chubb a massive contract. Missed out on Trey Hendrickson. Just a rough offseason for them.
We didn't hear your thoughts on the DJ Moore trade. 30 seconds. What do you think of DJ Moore in Buffalo?
I actually like the move. I think DJ Moore has a lot more to prove than what he's been showing. And I think in Buffalo, he actually has a chance to have a good connection with Josh Allen. I think it's a good move for Buffalo personally. And I'm really hoping that DJ Moore has a resurgence in his career.
I think it's possible. I think it was funny how many people just said he was washed as soon as he got traded to Buffalo. I don't think it's quite the fact, but I don't think he's the same player he was in his prime years at the beginning of his Bears career either. But should we get to some of the more kind of expected moves here and just get some feedback? First off, Cody, you called this one before the season was even over. Malik Willis joins Green Bay South down in Miami. So they found their quarterback of choice. I know, Tyler, you're a fan of Malik Willis and hope he succeeds as well. What are your guys' thoughts there?
Great dude. Hope he does well. That Sunday night matchup, Dolphins and Lambeau Field, is going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Malik, like you said, is such a good dude. If you ever get to see any of his off the field stuff, he is such a great guy. And he has all of the intangibles to be fun. He's fast. He's got a really strong arm. I just hope he puts all the pieces together and is successful. This is his chance to shine.
Yeah, obviously still a question mark if he's going to be a sustained long-term starter, but he was the gem of the quarterback class. And then the other one that was out there was Daniel Jones, who the Colts did not let hit the market, and they did officially sign an extension with him. He's staying put in Indy. Not too shocking.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a lot of money, but
it's crazy money. 2 years, $100 million for Daniel Jones. This is the same Daniel Jones, right? Like I know, oh, well, he didn't have a good. I understand he had a good year this year, but he had Malik Neighbors and he had all these good receivers before. He had Saquon Barkley and he still was Daniel Jones. Like he had a great year for the Colts, but it's still 2 years, $100 million. Crazy.
The fact that it's 2 years is maybe the redeeming quality in that. I mean, I don't know if there's void years on that contract or anything else, but if it does go south, you're not handcuffed for long.
Yeah.
But it also works out in Daniel Jones' favor because if he keeps balling like he did last year and we all of a sudden have good Daniel Jones, Daniel Quarters or something, maybe he cashes in on another 4-year huge contract before the end of his, prime, which would be crazy.
I think the Colts are in a tough spot. Whether basically this contract is 2 years of the transition tag, so it's like they're just not tagging him, but it's actually like $5 million more, and in the scheme of things, what's that really matter? But fun fact, before I go into my Daniel Jones stint, I just heard you say Colts and money, and I couldn't tell if we were talking Daniel Jones or Alex Pierce. That's why I was just like, it's a lot of money, and
It's a lot of money there too. You're right.
but we can talk about him in a second. But the Daniel Jones thing, like because they were 7-1 before he got hurt. Like you almost had to bring him back, and there wasn't really another quarterback out there. Like, were you going to trade Daniel Jones for Kyler Murray? Were you going to trade Daniel Jones for Kirk Cousins? So, like, if you're already going to put him on the transition tag, you might as well sign him to a contract, I guess. Not saying that's good business, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like you said, it's the money for me because you give all this money to Alec Pierce, so now you don't have the money to really sign anybody else, and you trade away Michael Pittman. You don't bring in any other receivers. Who's Daniel Jones throwing to? Is Alec Pierce like a god now that I just didn't see? I couldn't believe how big of a name he was on free agency. I guess just because he was the best thing out there, but at the same time, just because you're the best thing in a pile of crap doesn't mean you're not still crap.
Do you remember how much money Christian Kirk got in Jacksonville back in the day?
Yeah, stupid money.
Like, I think it's a similar situation. I do think that there's a high ceiling for Alec Pierce. I do think he was a little overhyped, but when it comes to like who was in the wide receiver class, I mean, it was like Mike Evans was the cornerstone, but he's on the wrong side of his 30-year career.
and got less money.
And then it was like, what, Alec Pierce, Wan'Dale Robinson, Romeo Dobbs. Decent names, not fantastic names. So I think that's probably where it stems. So they just took the bet on the young guy that they know. But no, it's a good point. Like, maybe Michael Pittman hasn't been as good as we thought he could be when he was, balling out at the beginning of his career. But it's still like, oh, we re-signed Pierce and then subtracted Pittman. Do they have enough around him? Warren's helping.
I was going to say, Tyler Warren's still there. And I think Alex Pierce, like, he's a really good wide receiver. I like him a lot. And I just think, like, the wide receiver market has been exploded over the years. Like, Jamison Williams, I remember his last season. I think it was beginning of the season, he signed his extension. That was like 3 years, $80 million. Like, that's just where we're at for, like, wide receivers. The cap has gone up $100 million in the last 4 years. And, like, the wide receivers seem to be the top of taking advantage of that, where you still have, like, starting centers outside of Tyler Linderbaum making, like, $10 million. And it's like, wait, this guy plays every single snap. This guy does not. And they're, like, a number 2 high end, and they're making 2.5 times. It's a weird dynamic. I think something's going to have to happen with the NFL, like, balancing out all these positions in a sense at some point. But yeah, I mean, it stinks for me because Christian Watson's going to get his contract extension here soon, and he's a very similar player to an Alex Pierce, a bigger guy that can stretch the field, which there isn't as many field stretchers in the NFL in this day and age, which Alex Pierce is one of them. But, like, is he the number one guy that should be getting $30 million? I mean, I love Christian Watson, but I don't know if it's $30 million worth. I'm not going to complain if we do it, but it's a lot of money. And it feels like, wait, I could have a center, a rotational pass rusher, and a cornerback for the same price as Alex Pierce, but that's just where the market is.
Yeah, that's honestly wild when you put it in those numbers too. But yeah, that's true. Like, there's been random wide receivers even that are just getting a ton of money. Tutu Atwell had a 1-year, $10 million contract last year, and he was a game day inactive half the season. So,
in the NFC Championship game.
And in the NFC Championship game specifically, yeah. So it's weird seeing receivers that haven't proved much doing it. Jamison Williams was honestly the perfect example. Like, we see the potential in Jamison Williams, but between the suspensions and the injuries, he hasn't proven it consistently enough.
All right,
Well,
George.
I was going to say, we're talking receivers. What about Mike Evans? How do you guys feel about him landing in San Fran? It's just weird not seeing him in a Bucs uniform.
I'm glad he's still wearing red, so it's not going to look completely foreign, right? I like the fit for San Francisco, especially with hearing that Ayuk is going to be gone at some point. I don't know why they haven't cut him yet, but it seems like they're just not in a rush to. I think it was interesting hearing him get a little cocky and saying how I think these guys are a piece away and I'm that piece. I didn't think that was how Mike Evans rolls, but maybe in his 30s, he's just like, I'm going out here, I'm getting a ring. But I think for the fit of needing somebody to be the consistent number one for Brock Purdy, that is exactly what they got there. Hopefully he can stay healthy and really prove it. I think he has a chance to have a huge year and really kind of bring up a lot of those young receivers that are there in San Francisco that they need to take another step, like a Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I really liked the move as much as I hate the San Francisco 49ers. But I think the way that he complements a Ricky Pearsall, fills the Jawan Jennings hole, can be the red zone threat. They're going to get Kittle back later in the season as well. I think Ricky Pearsall can, take another step as that first round guy. And I still think there's a chance that they bring back familiar face Deebo Samuel to fill in that slot role, and they build like a really good wide receiver tandem. Maybe that doesn't happen, but either way, I really think that Mike Evans is like almost a perfect fit for a team on what that team needed and what his skill set is at his age. Just watch out for his hamstrings at that electrical field next to the practice thing.
I was going to say, do these injuries kind of concern you at all? Like, I know I'm one of the biggest ones that tries to talk about like, oh, you can't play based off of injuries. You can't expect injuries. But at the same time, you got Ricky Pearsall, who's really struggled to stay healthy. You have Mike Evans, who's getting later in his career. George Kittle, who hasn't played a full season in I don't know how long. I feel like they're lacking dependability in their receiving core. Wouldn't you want to bring in somebody else along with it? Like you were even talking Deebo. Even Deebo hasn't proved that he can stay healthy. So is that really the piece that you want to bring in?
Is he a better player? Do you think he's a better player than Wandale or Alec Pierce?
Deebo?
No, Mike Evans.
Oh, Mike Evans? Yes.
I think that's probably where it stems from. It's almost the we realize that we have these injury-prone players. We realize this guy's past 30, but the window's open, so we're going to take the Hail Mary. I think that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a win now thing, because at this point, like, this is going to sound super disrespectful, and George is probably going to clip this, and I'm going to get hated in the comments.
That's what I do
again.
best.
Hope so.
But like in 2026, Mike Evans is probably the best of the Romeo Doubs, Alex Pierce, Mike Evans, Wan'Dale Robinson. Although he feels like a different wide receiver to me than the other three on the terms of the way they play. But I think like if they were going to go long term, like I do think Alex Pierce actually never hit the market. They signed him right before free agency open. And then like Romeo Doubs, I think would have been a better fit for the next 4 years. But because they had all the injuries and still made the playoffs, or still went far in the playoffs, they wanted to capitalize on this moment, and they had to go for the veteran. And that's why I think Deebo is appealing to them. Like that doesn't make sense for a team that, thinks their window's in 2 years. Like they're trying to go all in, try to, get Kittle back for a run, so to speak. So that is why I think they went that way. And I just want to know if he's going to wear 13 or how much it's going to cost him to get from Brock Purdy.
He's not getting 13. Ain't no way.
Yeah, from the quarterback. That's he want to wear 3.
Okay, but so I know the NFL has the dumb buyout rule.
Yeah.
But I think Mike Evans is a worthy enough player to be like, I want 13 from the quarterback.
He'll pay the buyout from Purdy.
Or heck, the 49ers might, because if they sell a new Brock Purdy 3 jersey, they're going to make a ton of money. Like they might want this.
I love where Cody's mind goes when we're talking serious. Like, are they going to be able to make a run with the injuries? And he's like, 13 though.
Yeah. What are we doing with the jersey?
He'll be on the sale online that we have going on right now. That snatching up all the old jerseys. It'll be Brock Purdy 13s on discount.
It's a good way to get a cheap Brock Purdy.
Maybe they'll
jersey.
trade Brock Purdy and just start Mac Jones, and they won't have to deal with it. Hot take.
It's pretty spicy there. I could see crazier things coming out of Shanahan. I know he wanted Mac Jones before. They're going to trade Mac.
Tyler's back, so I feel like I have to throw some hot takes out there.
Am I not throwing enough hot takes yet? All right, I'll have to step it up.
Step it up.
All right, I got you.
Okay, so tell me why the best quarterback move so far was Geno Smith getting traded to the Jets.
Geno Smith is the greatest quarterback of all time. So, yeah, no, don't clip that one because that is bull. I hate Geno. I don't think he should have had a starting job as long as he did. Yeah, that's a nothing move. The Geno Smith trade. It's a backup.
It's them stacking quarterbacks so they have something. I really think it was pretty insignificant. The other significant, to an extent, quarterback move was the Falcons signing Tua to pair with Penix. Funniest thing about it is the lefties are together, so there's no more if Penix isn't playing, they are going to a righty and the offense has to be flipped. But other than that, does it make a lot of sense for the Falcons to make that move?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to pay him much. Penix can't stay healthy either. Like, they got 2 quarterbacks to get him through 17 games.
All right, so who do you think starts week 1?
If Penix is back, I think he'll start.
And who starts week 10?
Probably Tua at that point.
And then by week 12, it'll be Penix again, right? Or it'll be whoever the third string is.
Who knows?
But no, I think I'm agreeing there. If Penix is healthy, I think he still gets first nod. But I don't think it's going to be a super long leash for them to go to Tua because I do think this kind of spells we're not confident if Penix can be the long-term answer. And I think they were, just over the Kirk was fine, but obviously he kind of played his time in Atlanta out, and that's why they moved on to another guy who they could get with the minimum, league minimum, being that he just got cut. So,
if you're Kirk, where do you go? I mean, I
really thought it was going to be Minnesota.
Not when Kyler came available.
Well, yeah, that's what.
Add him to the Jets locker room. Let's go. See how many we can get.
Does he become A-Rod in Pittsburgh?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he could. I think he's going to be the prime backup. And I think he's going to go to a team that has, the teams I'm thinking of, and if you guys want to disagree, please do. But, could he go be Matt Stafford's backup, a team that's trying to win now, and if Stafford gets hurt, they still have a shot? Could he go be a mentor for Drake May? And if he goes down, the Patriots are still involved. Maybe even could he go back to, the Minnesota Vikings pair up with the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold? Those are the kind of thing, the win now teams that, if their quarterback gets hurt, they want to, stay competitive, would be an interesting spot for him if he's willing to be a backup.
Was McVay in Washington when Kirk was there?
I think so.
I would assume so because I feel like RG3 was on the dream team and they got drafted in the same year.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the one you said I like the most. Sorry, I cut you off, Tyler.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just agreeing with you. But yeah, I like your thought of him going to a win now team. I see it as more of a spot where he has the best chance to still start at some point, though. I don't think he's going to go to the Patriots because Drake May's young. He's healthy. I don't think the risk of injury is there. The risk of benching is there. The risk of moving on after this year is there. But it seemed like the Rams, where, Matt Stafford's 47 years old, I could see that more. Or, Stafford's getting closer to retirement. Maybe this is the final year. Who knows? Going to a team like that where the quarterback is older, maybe the quarterback isn't the ideal guy. Somewhere where he has a chance to be starting by the end of the year.
I got one more team for both of you.
Okay.
What about the Kansas City Chiefs? Go start the first 4 weeks, let Mahomes come back, and then potentially be a trade deadline candidate for someone that needs a quarterback. But you would get to start at the beginning of the season. You're not going to keep that job, but you at least be a bridge and not make Mahomes have to rush back.
On one hand, I like it because you get the chance to start and show what you can do. On the other hand, I don't feel like the Chiefs are a really great team right now, especially that offense. I mean, yes, they just got Ken Walker, which is great. But handing the ball off doesn't make you a viable trade candidate. Being able to win games with your arm makes you a viable trade candidate. And I don't feel like he has the pass catching options to really shine in Kansas City. Maybe you disagree, but that's the way I feel.
I definitely agree because we don't know what's happening with Rashee Rice. I think if Rashee Rice was more locked in as like these legal issues were over and he was healthy and everything, but I think that'd be fine. But now, having him come back and then hearing these things ramp up again makes me really question what they do have there. Getting Kelsey to come back out of retirement helps, but I think it makes sense for the fact that like if they still think they can go out there and compete this year, which I mean you have Mahomes, you have to say they can at least have the chance to compete this year. It's a good insurance policy to bring in someone like Kirk, but I don't think it's the team that's gonna make that move. I think the more like when last year when they had Gardner Minshew, that kind of player probably makes more sense to them, and I have to see who's still available in free agency to even see who they might go for in that case.
All right, one last team. I'd like him to sign a 1-year deal, and this is going to sound dumb, but I want him to sign a 1-year deal with the Cleveland Browns, just so that classic meme of the guy who has the jersey with the 87 different quarterback names has to add one more to it. Kirk Cousins. It'd be great.
I have a feeling they're not done regardless of what they do, but maybe that's just me being a doubter on Shadur Sanders.
It sounds like they're going to start watching.
That's a finance move if I ever heard one.
I mean, that contract in itself, they should have backed out when the Texans did that. They should have got cold feet for sure. But no, I think Kirk is a fascinating name because of like there is no on the surface there's no starting jobs left that I can think of, unless it is going to a team. Maybe it's Indianapolis if you want to throw them in there, that their quarterback might not be ready week 1. And I just don't see the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they got Travis Kelce to come back. You're going to tell me he's going to play the first 4 years with Chris Olodukon as our first 4 weeks with Chris Olodukon at quarterback? I don't think so. So they're going to add somebody. I believe that. I just don't know if it probably won't be Kirk, but somebody for sure.
Joe Flacco's on that list of guys available. Russell Wilson.
That's Pro Bowl quarterback Joe Flacco. He's going back to the Bengals or the Browns. I don't know which one he got the Pro Bowl for, but he'll go back to one of those.
Tyrod Taylor, Jimmy Garoppolo, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. There's just some of the names that are still out there.
Anthony Richardson eventually.
Yeah, that's a trade though, correct?
Most likely, but it's probably like a 7th round pick.
Easily. Maybe a 7th round pick swap.
Yeah. There is one other name
real value
that someone's going to roll their eyes when I say this.
I'll clip this too.
A 7th round pick for Will Levis would intrigue me as to come in to be a backup, guy, just see what he can do. And the only reason I bring him up is because Malik Willis got out of Tennessee, got, into a different system and looked good. Maybe the same. I'm not saying the same thing will happen for Will Levis, but he was a talented guy that, like, if you are a team like, bringing it back to the Rams and what did you say, 47-year-old Matt Stafford, like if you could get him for a year under Matt Stafford in that system, could they rebuild him up into something that they could potentially move forward with in a year or two? Like,
wouldn't be the first time they reclamated a quarterback. I mean, look at Baker. The revenge tour is still happening.
So,
yeah, I mean, look, Will Levis made his fame by his meme-worthy poses and bad throws and his doing splits over mayo jars. Like that's why he's looked at as so bad. But if you go back and watch his highlight tape from the year he did play on the Titans, like even with no receivers, he still made some really jaw-dropping throws. He really made some great plays. He just made so many boneheaded ones that it outshines it. So I agree. You find a place where he can go that he can actually, learn, get mentored, and develop. I'm not saying he's going to be a star one day, but he could be a serviceable backup or potentially a fringe starter, maybe a transitionary quarterback. And the Titans did sign Mitch Trubisky, which means they are moving on from Will Levis. So he's either going to get released or traded at some point.
We don't get to use this bumper very often, but
Cody's watching the Twitter.
We talked about it earlier. Jaquan Brisker is coming to Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh Steelers.
This guy, getting my hopes up over here. No, Pittsburgh's defense was a group of names that were really good that was very bad together last year. So good move on them to if they're going to try to compete out the bat here to go out and get a guy like Brisker. He was, I think, probably the best defender still left on the board. Now we just got to see what they're going to have at quarterback.
I really like Jaquan Brisker. He's a ball hawk. He's fun to watch.
He talks a lot of smack, which obviously Packers-Bears rivalry, and he couldn't back it up for a long time, but they did that this year, so I'll let it slide.
Hit a fan question?
Yeah, sure.
From Kempy, what's up, buddy? With the Max Crosby news and all the craziness that free agency has brought so far, do you think I should take Kyle Tucker or Jose Ramirez at pick 7 this year? #baseball season.
All right, so I'm going to need some help.
Yeah, we're going to let Cody answer this one. I think that's the best move.
What position is Kyle Tucker?
Outfield.
And what team?
Where's he at these days? The Cubs?
No, Dodgers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, that's right.
Last year.
The Dodgers sign everybody. I should have just guessed. Jose Ramirez, what position does he play?
Third base.
And is he still with the Guardians?
Yeah.
Proud of you for not saying Indians, by the way.
I would pick him. Go with him. Jose Ramirez, home run king, 40 this year. Book it.
For a guy who doesn't hit 40 home runs, that's pretty impressive. Take Kyle Tucker and leave Jose Ramirez for pick 9.
Is that guy? I'm sorry. We're going to go off on a little tangent right here. Is the guy that stole all the bases 3 years ago in Cincinnati still good? De La Cruz, something like that.
Ellie De La Cruz. Yeah, he's still good.
He's still good.
Okay, I would take him too. Is he going to go higher?
He's probably going to go end of the first round or second round.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a
little after
resurgence year
this.
for him.
A resurgence year. He just had a great year last year.
Yeah, even better.
Oh, okay. Wow. You hear it here first, guys. Ellie De La Cruz about to break the sound barrier,
MVP.
running around the bases. It's
NL.
going to be crazy.
Are the Reds in the NL?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, good.
Thank God this is not the Couch GMs Baseball Podcast.
No, Kempy would definitely be on it.
Yeah, I think so. Because, Cody, you're doing a great job trying to hang in there.
Hey, whatever I can do to help smarten the sports world so people in the comments can be like, podcast equipment should be more expensive. There you go.
That was my favorite comment we've gotten over the last 3 months.
Which I tend to agree. So it should be more expensive because I say some dumb stuff.
And I clip every bit of it. Moving on.
Yeah, there's never clips of George talking. It's always me.
You're welcome. Travis Etienne signing with the New Orleans Saints. Wondering what's next for Alvin Kamara. A lot of people think it's sipping pina coladas on the beach. What are you guys' thoughts?
No, that's what he threatened if he got traded last year. So
if they try to get rid of him now, he's going to be sipping pina coladas on the beach.
And I know Kellen Moore was asked about it, and he gave some awkward answer like, I'm not going to get into that. We haven't talked about that. I don't know. He could be on his way out. Maybe I think it would be fun, a fun 1-2 punch if they are going to go all in, which it seems like they're doing. They spent a bunch of money on Tyler Shuck. So he's either going to play for them or retire. I don't think there's any other options.
Yeah, I agree. Well, what if he can sign with a West Coast team so he can sip pina coladas on the beach on his off days?
So he can go be CMC's backup?
There you go.
They're too similar of a back, but honestly, because CMC's not going to play this year, because that's what always happens on the odd year. I guess even year technically. I don't mind that. I agree. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's like the Tua Penix thing. You have both of them, and they just keep swapping injuries until you make it through a full season.
Kamara's been generally healthy, but I mean, he's the perfect guy to fill in for CMC. He's the closest to CMC, I think, out there playstyle wise, right?
All right. No, I think he's even more closest. I feel like ETN might even be closer to CMC than.
Fair.
I don't know. They just peppered him with passes when they didn't have anybody. But
I was shocked to learn too that Kamara's never had 1,000-yard rushing in a season.
That's interesting.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean he's always had well over 1,000 offensive scrimmage yards because he catches the ball so much. But I was surprised he never hit 1,000 rushing.
I thought he had 1,000 rushing yards in that one Christmas game or Thanksgiving game.
That was just
It was
6
Christmas,
touchdowns.
I played against him in every fantasy league that year.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas.
I was literally going to say he is good for 1 6 touchdown game if he is back this year. So keep him on your bench for that.
Best
There you
ball.
go.
Draft them in best ball.
Good
I
idea.
think both of these guys might be good ideas in best ball. Just early off the noggin. That's a good call.
I don't know who we've talked about and who we didn't. So, George, I'm going to need you to do your job and carry the show.
All right. I'll rapid fire some running backs that are not as exciting. Rico Dowdle is with a Pittsburgh Steeler now. Kenny Gainwell, who was the Steelers, now in Tampa Bay. And Rashad White, who was in Tampa Bay, is in Washington. I did not put that in that order on purpose, but I'm glad I did it.
Why?
Because it all flowed together so well. Thanks, Cody.
Oh, I thought there was like a secret meaning behind it. You didn't mention Keaton Mitchell to the Chargers. I thought you were going to keep going.
Who
Well,
cares
why
about
didn't you add
Keaton
to the
Mitchell?
rundown?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Might be the best one.
He might be. I mean, he's got great ceiling with all that speed, but never established.
Did you mention Tyler Algier to the Cards? In your running back thing we're going to run down? See, I was just waiting.
No, I did the other three. I didn't get to that one.
Oh, my
Okay,
bad.
no comment on Dowdle, Gainwell, and White. Tyler Algier and Gardner Minshew both signed with the Cardinals.
I think
Algier was probably the best back out of here besides ETN and Walker. It was those two and then Algier.
Yeah, Walker to the Chiefs. We kind of brushed on it, but we didn't really talk about that one either.
probably my favorite move of free agency, to be honest with you.
And I hate it. But yes.
But it's the same reason why you hate it.
Yeah, 100%. I know the big, like everyone, Ken Walker had the amazing end of the year, and I was obviously the leader of the free Ken Walker movement, at least self-proclaimed. And then everyone started trying to bag on him because it's like he's a one-trick pony. He can run the ball. He can't pass block. He can't catch super well. But I think that works in Kansas City because they just needed somebody who could run the ball, and they'll figure out the pass blocking situation and everything else otherwise. It was a perfect fit for them because of their need.
All right, so don't draft Ken Walker. Let him struggle the first 4 weeks because the defenses are going to be just looking at the run, not worrying about the pass at all. And then trade for him around week 3 or 4 and eat with Ken Walker once Patrick Mahomes is back.
Or
Okay, I like or.
me and you draft Ken Walker.
Right.
He doesn't have a great first 4 weeks. Sell him to George because George is still bought in Ken Walker, free Ken Walker. We get him. We get value even when he's doing bad. He still continues his average season. We get better players.
I am all for taking advantage of George. This isn't collusion at all.
The
'Cause
Chiefs
we said it to his
would
face.
find a way to find the new Zach Charbonnet, and his name is probably Kareem Hunt. I actually don't even know if he's under contract with them still or not, but I could see it.
I don't believe he is.
No, he's
So-
probably not. They lost Pacheco as well, and I won't even lie. I forgot where he signed.
He went to the Lions, another name
There
that
we
you did
go.
not mention.
Yeah, and David Montgomery left too.
Yeah, he
That
got
one we
traded to the
mentioned last
Texans.
week.
Yep.
So that one at least we didn't forget.
I don't think Pacheco is like, I don't think he's as good as David Montgomery, but I think that knee injury like really took a turn for his career. But his like demeanor fits Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions really well.
And if they're really going to be confident in playing Gibbs 80% plus of the snaps, kind of like they were last year, at least it seemed like it, I think Pacheco fits. I'm cool with him being able to get 5 to 7 carries a game. It's if they're going to go 50-50 split, I think they're going to see that Pacheco really isn't as good as David Montgomery.
Not at all.
Mhm.
No, I actually like Jahmyr Gibbs even more this year in fantasy because I don't feel like Pacheco's going to steal as many touches or touchdowns as David Montgomery did.
So he your first overall pick then?
Absolutely.
He was already at least in the top 3 before the David Montgomery news hit. So that all it can do is help.
I'm not giving away my secrets yet, George.
Oh, okay. Sorry. March 12th. You weren't here for the way too early mock draft. We'll have to do another one.
Oh, isn't next week post free agency mock draft? So we'll just find out. Tyler's the first pick.
All right,
Done.
cool. There we go. Sold.
Lock in Jahmyr Gibbs then.
All right. I think that covers all the running backs, unless you guys are going to tell me I forgot somebody else on the rundown. So
I do think Rico Dowdle to Pittsburgh is a really good signing.
I
them.
said this already.
No, you just said his name.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it was a good signing.
Mom and Dad are fighting again.
Of course. Anyone else on running backs? Going once? Going twice?
Kenny Gainwell to the Buccaneers. No, I'm just kidding.
The two receivers that we didn't really talk about yet, we have Wan'Dale Robinson to Tyler's Titans down there, and Romeo Doubs, we did mention briefly, signed with the New England Patriots. I think those two probably deserve a little bit more talk.
You can take the Titans one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, a lot of people were hating on the Wan'Dale Robinson signing or talking down on Wan'Dale like he's nothing special. He was a 1,000-yard receiver last year. He's great in the slot. Solid. Or Brian Daboll loves to have a nice slot receiver. He has familiarity with Brian Daboll. Titans signed pretty much everybody who used to be a Giant or currently a Giant. But I like Wan'Dale Robinson a lot. I think it stretches the field a little bit. I think it gives Cam Ward a little bit more dynamic weapons to go to. I love the deal. I think it's great.
I think this year more than ever we've seen the NFL being the who do you know league, because not only do you see Wan'Dale Robinson going to the Giants to work with Daboll, but how much the Harbaughs have taken off of the Ravens roster. It really is who you know sometimes.
That's all it has to be.
And that's the other thing is we just talked about how mid-level receivers are getting close to $30 million a year because that's just where the market's at. A lot of people hating on Wan'Dale getting 17 to 19 mil a year, but 17 to 19 is way less than where the 30 million mid-level is, and he's only 24. He hasn't even reached his full potential yet. So I think it's a great value. I'm excited to see what he can do, and hopefully Cam Ward takes a step forward this year with it.
I think he's got almost as high a ceiling as Alec Pierce, and if we're gonna talk about getting them at a cheaper value than Alec Pierce, I definitely think it's a good move to go with a young team.
I would push back on higher upside than. I think there's limitations to Robinson's game. I think I'm not saying Pierce is like an all-star, like the next Jamar Chase. I just think size and ability, I think there is some limitations to his game. I think he's going to be a good fit. He's going to pair really nicely with Alec Ayumanor and maybe a resurging Calvin Ridley if he makes it through cutdown day. But be a nice piece for Cam Ward moving forward for sure.
Yeah, the only pushback I'll give to that is the only reason why I feel like Wan'Dale might have just as high of a ceiling or higher even is because of the situation. I feel like unless the Colts go out, draft a first-round receiver that can really take some of the attention, I don't think Alec Pierce is a number one receiver. I think he's a really good number two receiver. But currently with the roster that they have, he's going to be looked at as the number one. He's going to be shadowed by the number one corner. You could argue Tyler Warren might be the number one receiver, but he's not taking the number one corner. Where Wan'Dale is going to be in the slot, he's not going to be the number one guy. So I feel like he has more ability to get open rather than Alec Pierce will.
I think I've just seen Wan'Dale play with a lot of mediocre quarterback play, and at times has looked good. I mean, and you can look at that two ways. Maybe it's just, he's already at his ceiling and the quarterback had nothing to do with it. Similar to how I was super high on Sterling Shepard and that really never worked out when he left. But it also could be, if he does get good quarterback play out of Cam Ward, we could see a lot more out of him than we had seen previously in New York. And I can argue he was a fairly solid player in the second half of last year when he was on the field, when he was with Jackson Dart.
And you said, and tying this back to Alex Pierce, you mentioned poor quarterback play. Are we just Jackson Dart versus 7 games of Daniel Jones? He played with Anthony Richardson, old man Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz. I'm not going to say Alex Pierce had a bunch better quarterback play. There's maybe better pieces around him with Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. I'll give you that argument for sure. Yeah. But I think they're both solid players, and I do think if I was building a team, as much as I like Alex Pierce, I would rather have Wan'Dale Robinson at $17.5 million versus Pierce at 27. I 100% agree with that.
I think I'm good with that. Anything else you want to add, or do we kick it to Cody for the former Packer?
Let's get it, Dobbs.
Well, Dobbs is he's going to do really well there in New England. I think he's going to replace Stephon Diggs nicely. I think they could
choose to fill,
but I think it's a more reliable guy. The hands will let you down sometimes, and sometimes they'll be like, how the heck did you catch that? That's just the Romeo Doubs life that you have to live. He wears a Guardian cap, so that's always fun to see those running around. I think the Patriots, they could still use a big play threat. Like, I don't think, yeah, I think Romeo Doubs thrives in the middle of the field area, goal line, stuff like that. But yeah, I really like that fit. I think the only good thing is, and going back to being a fantasy football podcast, is like it's been Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson or Jaden Reed, or which one are you going to get? Feels like Romeo Doubs is going to be the guy, at least at the wide receiver position, you want in New England with a quarterback like Drake May. So he might be a riser up the draft boards for the people that don't pay attention. 365, be like, wait, why is Romeo Doubs going in the 6th round? And that's just kind of where we're at.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest. I was looking at
Green Bay too, so maybe that clears that up too.
Yeah, Christian Watson's gonna be the guy out there.
Yep.
So like, I don't know why, but I was looking through the free agents, and I feel like Romeo Doubs has been in the league for 20 years. That's just the way it felt. And then I saw that he was 25, and I was like, how is he only 25? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's only been 4 years. It just feels like it's been longer because, he was a rookie. No one knew of him. And that was when Green Bay just started like, we're going to have all these young receivers that no one even knew we drafted, and we're going to win games. And it's worked. But again, like it was like, is it this guy, or this guy? So, yeah, for fantasy purposes, I hope Dobbs works out as their number 1 receiver. And I hope that Green Bay gets a little bit clearer.
We're not getting clear. Don't get there ahead of yourself. Watson will probably be the highest paid. Golden's going to be like, well, he was a 1st-round pick last year. You still have Jaden Reed in the slot, Devontae Wicks, unless we trade him. Like, there's still a lot of pieces there. Tucker Kraft.
They'll draft somebody in the 6th round that's going to get a lot of playing time.
Bo Melton, switch to corner, come back, play wide receiver, steal a touchdown. Like, that's just Green Bay for you.
Play him as a receiver in a playoff game after you move him to corner. Yeah.
Moved in corner, never played a snap on defense. Caught a touchdown. So
lovely. Anything else on wide receivers you guys want to mention?
No.
Cool. Biggest tight end news. I mean, I mentioned a little bit already about how Harbaugh's trying to get some of his guys from the Ravens back. Isaiah Likely, Mr. What could have been multiple times, signing with the Giants as they try to rebuild that team. Potential to be big, potential to be absolutely nothing, and I really don't think it's anywhere in between.
I have nothing else to add. You said that so eloquently. I'm just going to let it go.
I'm good with that.
Cool. And then a couple of the biggest money, at least, defensive moves. Couple of edges. We had Jalen Phillips. He went to the Panthers. Odafe Owe moving back east to the Commanders. And Boye Mafe going from the Super Bowl champs to the Bengals.
How sad are you that Jalen Phillips left? Because I know the Eagles really want him, and they need some edge help. That is their biggest need currently.
Yeah, I mean, I think once I saw the contract, I definitely understand why they couldn't. They're in a very interesting situation, having so much money in the offense and it just not being great. But then having all the young guys they're trying to save the cap for to get all these deals done, that I just don't think it was possible to match that offer. But I was really sad to see it go because, yeah, they need edge help pretty bad.
Rumor has it Josh Sweat, former Eagle, requested a trade, so maybe they look for a reunion there.
I would like to see that.
Sweet. I know we have a couple minutes left. Do you want to talk some either biggest winners or losers or just some of the remaining free agents?
I'm cool with answering the question if you guys want to, or we can just move on to some. Where do you think some of these remaining guys are going to go?
You're the host, bro. You pick.
All right. Let's just talk remaining free agents. Maybe we'll get some winners or losers out of guys that are left. So we already kind of did talk about the quarterback landscape pretty deep, so I don't think we really have to talk more than Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, kind of the top 3 available. Running backs, not super deep left. Brian Robinson I think he's probably going to get a contract somewhere, probably as a backup. Michael Carter and Najee Harris, the top 3 guys. Not super exciting. Any, ideas where you think those guys might go?
No. The Najee Harris one is intriguing to me. Now that I'm thinking about it, like we didn't talk any re-signs, but J.K. Dobbins did go back to Denver, so that kind of takes them out of the running back thing. So Harris might be like the guy that signs during training camp. Maybe an injury happens as he recovers. And then Brian Robinson, it feels like he might just go back to San Fran after this market.
I could see that. Biggest names left available are at wide receiver and tight end. We'll start at wide receiver. Juwan Jennings, someone we brought up a couple of times earlier in the show, he's available. Stephon Diggs, how much does he have left in the tank? Debo Samuel, will he go back to San Francisco? And then Calvin Austin I threw in there as well as somebody who was a wide receiver too last year, just wasn't consistent enough.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings is the most exciting one to me. I mean, Stephon Diggs and Debo obviously have the name value, but at the same time, they're up there. They are on the latter half of their career, but Juwan Jennings is still young. He's still thriving. I mean, he's as a former Volunteer. I'm hoping he goes to the Titans, but obviously I just want him to go somewhere where he has a chance to be a top 2 guy. I just don't know if that team is out there right now. Not many of them, I should say.
Yeah, I think Juwan Jennings would be, again, back to the Colts, a good replacement for a Michael Pittman if they wanted to go that direction and add someone else that might not be as expensive to pair with Alex Pierce. I like that one. But the name I'm still paying attention to, and I know he hasn't been cut yet, is Brandon Ayuk. I want to know if his knee's healthy, first of all. But, like, where does he go? A lot of the rumors still say the Commanders to pair him with his former quarterback, pair him with Terry McLaurin. Like, I think that'd be a fun fit, but he's an intriguing name. I'm not saying he's going to be the best guy left, but the most intriguing name left for me is him.
And if he doesn't work out for some reason there, I kind of don't mind Juwan Jennings in Washington either.
I think that'd be a good fit.
I think that's the one place in my mind, at least unless I'm missing something, that like it feels like you could really use a solid wide receiver too, and he'd thrive there.
And I think some other names to watch would be Calvin Ridley, still rumored to be released, and A.J. Brown, still rumored to possibly be traded. I mean, those are also some big names out there. And maybe, if the Eagles are letting go of A.J. Brown, maybe they go for one of these other guys on a more one-year cap-friendly deal if they are willing to sign and they don't get the market they thought they would.
I'm honestly surprised Jennings is still out there, and maybe you do get him at like a 1 or a 2 year lower to the market deal than I was expecting when I saw what the wide receiver market looked like.
Yeah. Another name I'd bring up is Tyreek Hill. Obviously, that was a nasty knee injury. We don't know if he's even going to be ready to play. He could be like the guy that signs in week 4, right? But where does he go?
Have to clear some kind of physical or something before he can sign with a team.
Yeah, there's no rush to sign him. So
he has to be medically cleared, and that might not happen until the season starts. Exactly.
Dude, he'd be fun though. Wherever he gets signed, there's going to be like a free agency frenzy. Tyreek Hill's going to be the guy that gets drafted with the last pick in your draft instead of taking a kicker. Like, he's going to be that guy that the rest of your league's like, oh man, I should have thought of Tyreek. Like, he's going to be that guy because he's not on a team, but he's still going to get drafted.
You'll think about him if you listen here and like and subscribe.
Yes, and we could have just ended the podcast there.
Cool. Top tight ends left available here. Dallas Goedert, who I heard there was some weird thing where the Eagles pushed back his void time and they're still negotiating a deal with him exclusively. I don't exactly know how that works, but
he's technically not a free agent yet.
Yes.
I think, is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the void.
That was even a thing that could happen.
Yeah, because when you add void years, basically there's a date that the void years, accelerate, and that's when the contract ends. So you can negotiate them back to give yourself a bigger. Most guys don't want that because, right, they want to be in the free agency market. So you have to think there is at least some good intentions from both teams to try to get a deal done. Whether that happens or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Interesting. So that's good insight there by Cody. And then other 2 tight ends I have on here, Darren Waller. We don't know if he's actually going to come back and play or not, but he obviously showed some signs of life down there in Miami. And then David Njoku is the other big guy.
I'm surprised Njoku hasn't been signed yet. Honestly, Darren Waller is kind of like that's a sad one because it's like you feel like when you get later in your career, you get older, you want to go out, prove yourself on a 1 year, and just show you still got it. And hopefully that resurges your market. And then, like, he did that. Darren Waller was super impressive last year, and now he's still sitting out there on free agency. No one wants to give him a shot. It's kind of sad.
Makes me question if he is going to retire and, like, that just hasn't been announced yet. Or I don't know if the injury he had in the middle of the year, even though he came back, was harmful to that as well.
I also think, I don't know if you guys saw the meme of Jonnu Smith signing with the Ohio State Buckeyes because that's where Arthur Smith went. But he's another name out there.
Okay. And then I had 3 guys on defense. Brisker obviously signed during the show. We have Calais Campbell, all reliable in the middle of the defensive line, and then Joey Bosa, who I know Cody still wants to go play with his brother in San Francisco. I don't know if he still does after the moves that San Fran's made.
To be cool.
Just give me the Bosa bros. I don't even really like them, but we're gonna put them on the same team.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add, or do we get to our last little tidbit here?
Oh yeah, we have that. I don't have the bumper for that though. I couldn't find it.
Well, if
It's
you're a
all
long-time listener, you probably know what's coming up. But Tyler's here with us, so why don't you hit us with your oddball fact of the day before we get out of here?
Awesome. Yeah, I had my oddball fact loaded up here, and it's gone. So I'm just going to go off of memory. So free agency, as we know it, did not actually begin until 1993. They before that went through numerous different rules and different changes on how free agency might work and how you might be able to acquire different players. But back in the early years of football, back in the 1920s, they actually made it so that every player would get a 1-year contract, and it would be for a set amount. And that contract basically had you on that team indefinitely. And the team gets to choose if they want to re-sign you or not. You get no say. And they would basically just re-sign you at the exact same value you had last year for another 1 year. And if they decide they don't want you, they cut the contract and that's it. Otherwise, you are owned by them for life. These players could have played their best season ever. They could have went out there and had an MVP-like season and got paid the exact same amount the next year. There was no negotiating. There was no free agency. Crazy to think what the NFL might be like if it was still like that.
Yeah, for sure. It is, I mean,
salary cap going up 100K, or sorry, 100 million in 4 years.
and did you guys, speaking of the salary cap, did you guys see that the NFL wants to renegotiate their streaming deal already? They have like 5 years left, but they think they can renegotiate it for and it would double the amount. So the NFL cap is just going to keep going up and up and up. And Alex Pierce for $30 million in 4 years is going to be like chump change.
Like, man, they got him for only 30 mil.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to sell a car to get NFL Sunday ticket soon. That's the way this is going to go.
Literally.
Yeah.
Or a kidney.
And both my legs to go to a game or something like that.
Absolutely ridiculous, but all right.
All right. Any last words? Tyler puts his hand together. George just shakes his head, doing a terrible job as a host. Just doesn't say nope.
You're the one that gets us out of here.
That's what I'm doing. You hear me? I mean, as always, thanks for checking us out. We are live during the off season on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We had Tyler back with us today. George and myself will be breaking down more stuff, maybe even doing a mock draft next week. So I would definitely, lost my train of thought. Definitely encourage you to check it out. Follow us on social media. We'll talk to you all then.